Hello everyone, welcome to the Go Code Snippets channel. This channel is all about the Go programming language. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and also hit the notification bell so when new videos are released, you'll be the first to be notified. And also like the video, leave a thumbs up if you like the video after watching. So today we'll be talking about loops in Go. So unlike other programming languages, say JavaScript for example, where you have a for loop, a while loop, a do while loop, then there's an array dot for each method that you can use to loop through elements and array, and there's a for in loop, a for of loop, a lot of loop statements. In Go, the only loop statements you have is the for loop. So the way the for loop works is just a for in its statement, then a condition, just like most C family languages and JavaScript too. Then we have a post, then we write the code that will be run for each iteration. So the init statement is a statement that will be evaluated before the loop runs. Every time the loop is about to run, then the condition statement is the condition for which the condition that must be met for the loop to run. Then the post statement is the statement that is evaluated after the loop has run for each iteration. So we just do the usual for I. So you want to print like the first 100 numbers, and I should be less than I plus plus. So we just print out I. I didn't import package forms. I'll run the code now. So that's that for that. So we can also use a for loop as a while loop in Go. So how do we do for loop as while loop? So it's still the same thing. Instead of having a while statement, then a condition goes in here. Maybe while I is less than 100, then you'll be doing something like while I is less than 100, and you'll be doing maybe console log I or something. So the same thing in Go, you just do for instead of a Y. So it'll be for I less than 100, less than or equal to 100. So you have to initialize I first. That's the first thing. So we can say I should be 0. So we'll just print out I. Then we increment I. So if we run the code, so the next thing we'll talk about is an infinite loop. And an infinite loop is a loop that runs forever because there is no break condition for the loop. Because for this loop now, this while loop, or let me say for loop, since we're talking about line Go. So for this for loop, the as long as this condition is met, as long as this condition is met, the loop continues running until the condition is not met. But if you don't give it a condition, say this now, I will just print out I. Can increment it also. So if there's no condition and we run this code, so what happens is it will just be running forever, and on each iteration it's going to increment I, then print I. So we'll be having it to run forever. So to let me break this manually, so I'll exit the code manually. So to actually use an infinite loop, but we want to give it a condition to break, so we can just use the break statement And the way the break statement works is you have to wrap it inside an if statement. So we can say if I is less than 100, then we can just break. So we have to give a condition in an if statement, then we'll say break. Or if I is greater than 100, not less than, greater than 100. So to make it cleaner, let me just put a sleeping mechanism. So I run this code. So what happens is it will print out I, which is 0, then increment is, then check if I is greater than 100. So at the first iteration, no, because I is still 0, less than 100. So it won't break. So it will sleep. So this code runs for each half a second until it gets to 100. So when it got to 100, it's broke because the next number when we increment is 101, and 101 is greater than 100, so it won't run. That is how an infinite loop works. So the next thing we're talking about is a for range loop, and you use for range loop for array slices and maps. So if I have an array of integers, or a slice of integers rather, so let me just do, so I'm just creating an array of integers with 5 random integers between 0 and 10. So you can use a for range loop to loop through each element in the array, and to do that we'll just say for. So the for range loop can return one or two values. So if I'm using the one value, I say for I equals to range array. So if I'm using one value, it will just be returning the index of the array. So it will be returning 0 because the array has a length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And array indexing in Go, just like other C family languages, starts with 0. So we are having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can just print out I. So rand.int n is just from the package one trans. So what rand.int n does is just gives a random number between 0 and 10, because I'm passing in 10 here. So it gives a random number between 0 and the number passed in as an argument to the function. So I'll put on this code and see what we get. So we're having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the index. So index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, and index 4. So we can also print out the values also. So print out the values, we just use array and I. So these are the values. So here we're having 1 as the value, then we're having 7, 7, 9, and 1. So then the second way you can use a for range loop is you can actually make it return two values. So the first one will be the index, and the second one will actually be the value. So we can just print out index. So let's run the code and see what we get. So let me so let me pick the line on it on each iteration. So I'm having at index 0 the value is 1, at index 1 the value is 7, at index 2 till index 4. So I'm having the same values just like when I ran the code. So I want totally random numbers for each time I run the code. So I'll just call run.seed. So run.seed just make sure that every time we are using run.seed, then we are getting different values. So I estimate time. So I'll just write time dot now dot unix nano. Let me use unix nano. So I still need package time. It has been imported for me. So that is how run.seed works. So every time we are using this array, we'll be having totally random numbers. So here we had 17791. When we ran the code here again, 5 broke the line. I'm still having 17791. Then me, I'm still having 17791. So if I run it now, I shouldn't be having 17791. I should have been totally different numbers now. So yeah, I'm having totally different numbers. I'm having 97153. So if I run it again, let's run it again now. So we'll see if it's actually calling random numbers. Good. So I'm having 76537 now. So that is how you range over an array. So you can also use it on maps also. So for maps, it needs to be the key and the value instead of the index and the value. So if I have a map of, so let me say map of string to integer. So I have one. Two, three, four. So yeah, we are having instead of index and value, let me just say key value. So the key range m. So the key is actually a string this time around because it is a map of string to integer. So I have to use percentage %s, not percentage %d. Then key. So when I print it, when I run the code, I don't need this anymore. Why am I still calling this? So yeah, I'm having the key 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, then they have respective values. So that is how you use for range loop for array slices and maps. So one other thing I also like to mention, I actually forgot to mention it, actually come before the for range loop is the initial for loop structure we wrote. If we were to use it on an array, for example, let's say, sorry, just so our array, so we can use the usual for loop we used the other time. So for we can say for I equals to 0, I should be less than len array, then I plus plus. So we can just do font dot print index %d and value %d. So the index will be I, then the value will just be array of I. So if we run the code, so we're having the index 0 to 4 and their respective values. So that is how for loops, or that is how loops in Go works. And the only looping statement is in Go is the for loop. So that will be it for this video. Once more, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and also hit the notification bell. And if you like the video, leave a thumbs up. And if you also don't like it, you can drop a comment and let me see the things that you feel I did wrong. So I like reading post comments, so I would like to see your comments. So that will be it for this video. Bye for now.